Hello everyone, so let us check out with class 7 solutions to the mathematics half yearly exam. So if we look at the first question, which was all about the objectives, let me zoom it a bit. So you can see first question was, which of the following is not defined? So if you look over here, you can see in this option that there is a number with denominator 0. So wherever there is denominator 0, it is not defined. So this will be the correct option. The fraction equivalent to 3 by 7 with denominator 21 is, now do you remember how to make equivalent fractions? So if we are making 3 by 7 into an equivalent with 21 as denominator, this goes 7 multiplied by 3 is 21. So 3 also needs to be multiplied by 3, and here we get 9 by 21. The value of 703.82, what it should be divided with to get now 703.82, and from here we need to move to 0.70382. So to move from this part to this part, you see that we are moving the decimal 3 places to the left, and you know that to move the decimal to left means that you are dividing it by something, and it is moving 3 places to the left, so that means it needs to be divided by 1000. So this will be the correct answer. 11 by 10 when expressed as percent is, now see, fractions, whenever you express them as percent, you do it this way and then you get 110%. Remember that 1 is always equal to 100%. So 11 by 10 is 1 by 10, so that makes it 100 plus 10, that makes it 110%. I hope that you are able to understand this question. I saw that a few of you got this incorrect. Now let us move on to this one, where the supplement of an acute angle. Now remember that you have to read this question and understand this question carefully. Let me just shift this a little bit over here, or I can keep on erasing this as well so that we have a clean board at all times. So you have the supplement of an acute angle is, remember how do we talk about supplements? So supplementary angles are angles where their sum is equal to 180 degrees. Now you see, if there is an acute angle, so that means it has to be, if it is an acute angle, then two acute angles will not be able to make a supplementary angle. So an acute plus an obtuse angle always, sorry, I'm not very adept. I'm out of practice using this whiteboard, but still, you know, acute plus obtuse will always give you supplementary angle. Let us say that we have an acute angle which is 40 degrees. To make it into a supplementary pair, we need to add 140 degrees to that. So then only they will be supplementary angles. Now it is only with 90 degree that you will add another 90 degree and make it into a supplementary pair. But with any other acute angle, anything which is less than 90, that will have an angle, supplementary angle, which will be more than 90. So more than 90, you know, is an obtuse angle. So that's why this option will be correct. If profit is equal to 100 rupees and selling price is 600 rupees, then the profit percent is what? Let us check this out. So to solve this, you know, let us take up the formula where you have P is equal to rupees 100 and SP is equal to rupees 600, and you know that to calculate CP is equal to SP minus profit, right? So this comes to rupees 500. Now to calculate the profit percent, what is the formula that we use? Profit by CP into 100. So this will be 100 by 500 into 100. That makes it 20%. So this 20% will be the correct answer. Now let us move on to the next question, where it says an angle is greater than 45 degrees. Now its complementary angle will be what? Now if you remember correctly, then how do we write the complementary angles? What is the sum of complementary angles? So complementary angles, the sum is equal to, 90 degrees. So if an angle is greater than 45 degrees, so that means if it is 45 plus something, so the other angle will automatically be less than something, less than 45. Why? Because 45 plus 45 is equal to 90. So if this is more, if something is added to this, then this means this will automatically be reduced. So this will be less than 45 degrees. Then only they will add up to 90 degrees. Because if this is also more than 45 and this is also more than 45, then they will not add up to 90 degrees. So this cannot be possible. Equal to 45 degrees, no, because if this angle is more than 45 degrees and you add 45 to it, becomes more than 90 degrees, which will not make them complementary angles. Either A or B, no. It cannot be greater than 45 degrees, it cannot be equal to 45 degrees, it has to be less than 45 degrees. Okay, so now let us move on to the next question. 20% of a number is 12. The number is, now you remember, 20% of a number is 12. So the number will be what? Number will be 12 into 100 by 20. Why? Because when this moves over to this side, this is actually 12 divided by 20 by 100, or 1 by 5. So when you move it to this side, so this division sign, when you change it into multiplication sign, the fraction gets reversed, and this is what we get. So the answer here will be 60. Okay, so that was that for a few of the objective type questions. Now let us see, a few more are left. Let us zoom them a bit more so that we can get them. Yes. Now this was one question which I found that many of the students committed errors with. So what does it say? You need to read this very carefully. Let me zoom it a bit more so that you can see it more clearly. See, this is -1 multiplied 10 times. So this -1 multiplied 10 times with 1 multiplied 101 times. Now what does this mean? This means -1 into -1 into -1. This is how many times? 10 times. Now remember, this is even number. So even number of negative signs multiplied gives a positive sign. So this becomes +1. Now it is multiplied once again with 1 multiplied 101 times. So it is not 1 multiplied with 101, but it is multiplied with 1 itself 101 times. It does not matter whether this is multiplied an odd number of times or an even number of times. This will always be +1. So +1 into +1, that makes the answer also as 1. So this will be the correct option. Now the product of, last of the MCQs, product of 0.02 and 0.7. Now what does this mean? So you have basically 2 multiplied with 7, which is 14, but be careful, about the number of decimal places. So how many decimal places over here? 1, 2 and 3. So that makes sense. Here we have only 2 digits. So we add one more 0 and we get the answer. So the correct answer will be C option, 0.014. So that was that for the MCQs, and now let us move on to the other questions. Okay, so for the other questions, these were now the 2 mark questions. So the first question which came up over here was, find the product using suitable properties. Now what are you supposed to do over here? So the question was that you take up 16 into minus 38 plus minus 38 into minus 56. So see, minus 38 is common over here. So this means minus 38 is multiplied with 16 plus minus 56, right? So what do you get over here? Let us solve the brackets first. So 38 into 16 minus 56. Now remember, what do we have over here? Minus 56 plus 16. When the signs are opposite, the operation is subtraction. And the sign, remember I tell you of Bada Bhai, the Bada Bhai sign. So this will be minus 38 into minus 40. So that makes the answer as 1520. Okay. So 8 4s 32, 4 3s 12, and 12 and 3, that makes it 15. So 1520, not minus, because this is minus into minus. So the answer will be 1520. The second question is, what percentage of 3 kg of, there's a misprint over here, so it should be what percent is 3 kg of 25 kg. So what we do, we put 3 kg of 25 kg and we find the percent. Simple as that. It will be 12%. 30% of a number is 54. What does this mean? 30% of x is equal to 54, and we have to find x, right? So what do you do? Again, this moves to this side, and because it is multiplied over here, it becomes divided over here, or as we do it, it becomes multiplied with the reciprocal. So what you have over here is this. Okay, so 50 to 30% of a number is equal to 54. Sorry, 54. So 3 18s 54, and the number that we get is 180, right? So that would be your answer. Now let us move on to the next question. But before that, let me erase all this so that we get a clean board once again. Okay. Now, so what must be added? Now see very carefully. The question says added to 1 by 27 to get 5. So you are getting this as the final number, which means 5 minus 1 by 27. This should be 5 minus 1 by 27 if you are to get the number. So the LCM is 27, and 27 fives, how much? 25 fives. You remember what it is? 25 fives, 125, and then you have 27 fives, 135, and the answer that you get is 134 by 27. That should do it. Find the number of terms and degree in, what was there? 8x square minus 2x plus 5. So how many terms over here? 1 term, 2 term, and 3 terms. So the number of terms is 3. And what about the degree? So this is 1 and this is 2. So degree of this polynomial is 2. That's that. All you had to do was this much. Now let us move on to the next question. A shopkeeper bought a chair for 375 rupees. Now what does this mean? CP is equal to rupees 375. SP is equal to rupees 400. So that will give you the profit, right? He's selling it for more, so that means we get a profit which is rupees 25. Now all we have to do is calculate the profit percent. You remember the formula for profit percent? Profit percent is equal to profit by CP into 100. So profit is what? 25. CP is what? 375 into 100. So how many times is 25 by 375? Do you know this? This is 15 times, right? 15 times 25 is 375. So what you get over here is 20 by 3% or 62 by 3%. You can also write it as 62 by 3%. Both of them are equal, right? Now let us move on to the next set of questions, which were all for how many marks? 3 marks each. These were all for 2 marks each. So remember to write the questions properly and show the proper steps. Now let us look at this diagram. So this diagram, let me draw it for you roughly. Over here it shows something like this, and you have A, B, C, D and E, and this one is O. And let us talk about the angles now. This is angle X, this is angle 30 degrees, this is angle Z, this is angle Y, and this is 100 degrees. Okay, and you have to find the values of X, Y and Z. Now Y is the easiest one to find. You see, Y is opposite, vertically opposite with 30 degrees. So with Y and 30 degrees you can see a clear X being formed. So that is why they are vertically opposite angles. So this angle and this angle, you can see they are formed by 2 straight lines. So Y is 30 degrees. Now for X, this X and 30 degree together they form a linear pair, remember? So what is the sum of the linear pair? A linear pair is made up of 180 degrees. The sum of both angles is 180 degrees. So if one of the angles is 30 degrees, so that means X would be 180 minus 30, that is equal to 150 degrees, right? So we get X, we get Y, and now what about Z? We have Y as 30, this angle as 100, so 100 plus 30 makes it 130 degrees, and together Y, Z plus 100 plus 30, sorry, let me just put it over here so that I can explain it in a better way. So we have 100 plus 30, that much is clear. So what about Z plus 30 plus 100 should be equal to 180 degrees. So Z is equal to 180 minus 130, which makes the value of Z as 50 degrees. So you get all these 3 of them correct and you get 3 marks immediately. Now let us move on to the next part. Okay, so let us move down. So if a man takes, if 6 men take, if 6 men take 12 hours to do a job, how long will 9 men take to do it, provided all of them work at the same rate? So you remember men and days. 6 men take 12 hours. So 9 men will take how many hours? Remember, in the arrow method, the arrowhead always points towards X, and now we need to ask, if the number of men has increased, will the number of, sorry, this should be hours, not days. So let me just look for, where did my cursor go? Okay, I keep losing the cursor in between. This should actually be hours, right? So if the number of men is increasing, will the number of hours also increase or also decrease? So this is increasing. So if number of men increases, this decreases. That means this is inverse variation. So the arrows go in opposite direction. And remember, whenever we are putting up the fractions, we always put the arrowheads on the top in the numerator. So this will give us X is equal to 12 into 6 by 9. So that gives us 8 hours. So if there are 9 men, they will finish the work in 8 hours. Now let us take this in the statement method as well, those of you who are not comfortable with the arrow method. So if 9 men finish, if 6 men, if 6 men finish the work in 12 hours, that means 1 man will finish the work in 12 into 6 hours, and then 9 men will finish the work in 12 into 6 by 9, that is equal to 8 hours. The same calculation that we did over here. Okay, now let us move on to the next question, which is simplification. So let me just bring this down over here. Let us just shift it to this. Oh, sorry. Let us just keep moving it over here. Just shift it down. So, simplify. Now in simplify, you have, what did you have? Your question was a square minus 2a plus 5 minus 5a minus 3 minus 2a square minus 5a minus 9. All you needed to remember was, if there is minus sign outside the brackets, every sign inside the bracket changes. So what does it become now? A square minus 2a plus 5. This remains the same, but here all the signs will change. So this becomes minus 5a, this becomes plus 3, this becomes minus 2a square, this becomes plus 5a, and this becomes plus 9, right? So let us group the like terms together. A square minus 2a square. So 1, this is done, this is done. Now minus 2a minus 5a plus 5a. Okay, this is done, this is done, this is done. Now what are we left with? Plus 5 plus 3 plus 9. So all of them are done over here. Now a square minus 2a square minus a square. Now minus 5a plus 5a get cancelled out, and we are left with minus 2a. 5 plus 3 plus 9 is 17. So this should be your answer. Minus a square minus 2a plus 17. Now let us take up the next question. A jacket was sold for 680 rupees after allowing a discount of how much? 15%. Now remember, what I always tell you to remember is that whenever you check out any discount or anything, see whether one is in percent, and if the selling price or the cost price is also in, if one is in rupees and the other is in percent, then you need to be very careful with the calculations. So what we have over here is the selling price, which is rupees 680. The discount which is 15%, and we have to find the marked price. So now we need to remember the formula. So marked price is equal to 100 by 100 minus discount percent into selling price, and straight away you can apply the formula and you can get the answer 100 by 85 into 680. We know both of them are divisible by 17, so this makes it 45, 8 times 8 into 100. The marked price was 800 rupees, and remember that the marked price is always more than the selling price. If you are getting marked price less than selling price, that means you are doing something wrong and you need to recheck it. So please be very careful about this concept. Let us move on to the next question, where it says A can do a piece of work in 8 days, whereas B does it in 10 days. So when they are working alone, so A's work rate is equal to 1 by 8 and B's work rate is equal to 1 by 10. So together A plus B, when they work, their work rate becomes what? Their LCM is 45 plus 4, which is 9 by 40. Now 9 by 40 is their work rate, remember. That means in one day they will finish 9 by 40 work. So they finish the work, they finish the work in 40 by 9 days. Just reverse it. That should be your answer and not this one. So I saw that many of you wrote this as answer. Please correct that. This is their work rate. This is the work that they do in one day, and this is when the number of days they will take to finish the entire work. Now let us move on to the next question. Subtract something from something. Now here the very common error which I found many students committed was they did not pay attention to the from part. Now from the sum of, so from the sum of what? So you have 2x square minus 7y plus 5y, oh, sorry, plus 5x, sorry, plus 5x, and the sum is plus. So here, because it is addition, because we are finding the sum, so no signs change. Minus x plus y. So this is the sum, and from this you have to subtract 5x minus 7y. Remember, this entire thing goes inside the bracket. So what we have over here now, let us take up the like terms. 2x square minus 7y plus 5x minus x plus y, and remember there is minus sign outside, so all the signs inside change. Minus 5x plus 7y. Now let us move all the y and the x's, all the like terms together. So x square, there is no more x square, so this remains like this. Now let us take up the y part. Minus 7y plus y plus 7y. Now let us take up this, done. Let us take up the x. Plus 5x minus x minus 5x, right? Now minus 7y plus 7y get cancelled, plus 5x minus 5x get cancelled, and we are left with 2x square plus y minus x. That should be your answer. Okay, now let us move on to section B, where in each question there were 3 bits, right? And if you look at the solutions, you will find that they all were pretty simple questions if you know how to do them. Let us check out the first question. A tap fills a cistern in fills. So when it is filling, it means its work rate is in plus. right? Because it is adding on. And then there is a tab which is emptying. So if it is emptying, its work rate is in minus. So what do you get the total work rate as? So if it is filling part is happening 1/4 and 1/6 is the emptying part which is happening. So we find that in an hour, the work which is being done, the work rate, if we calculate, when both of them are turned on together, when they are open together, so this will be their work rate. And remember, to finish the time, to fill the tank, we just reverse the work rate and it will take 12 hours to fill the tank, right? So that should be your answer. Now let us move on to the next question. Let me edit that. Go. Okay, it is here. Sorry, I thought I have lost it. Now let us move on to this part. Draw a line segment of this centimeter and construct an angle of 75 degrees using ruler and compass. So I don't need to explain this to you over here. You already know how to construct it, and if you have constructed it properly, showing the proper arcs and marking the angles well, you will get full marks in that. Now let us attempt this question, which is this is, sorry, my line is a bit skewed, but the angles that are mentioned over here are 3x minus 10 and 2x minus 20, and we have to find the two angles. Now if you look at it carefully, it forms a linear pair, right? So with the linear pair, we know that their sum of both the angles is equal to what? Yes, absolutely correct, 180 degrees. So 3x minus 10 plus 2x minus 20 is equal to 180 degrees. Now remember, when you are doing, now your integers concepts need to be good over here. Minus 10 minus 20 is equal to 180. So what does this mean? These are both same signs, so they add up and they keep the sign. These are both same signs, so they add up and they keep the same sign. Now what many of you did was, when you shifted it over here, you kept it as minus 30. No, when the sides are changing, this becomes plus 30. This will be equal to 210. That gives you the value of x as 210 by 5, which is 42 degrees. Now if this is 42 degrees, and now if you calculate 3x minus 10, so 42 into 3x is 42 into 3 is what? 126 minus 10, which gives you 116 degrees. 2x minus 20, so 2x will be 84 minus 20, that gives it 64 degrees. So this should have been your answer. Okay, now for the next question, construct an angle of 90 degrees and bisect it. So if you know how to construct the angle of 90 degrees and you know how to bisect it, you will get full marks if you have marked them properly. Oh, sorry, I missed out on B part. Over here, if you look at the B part, what number when increased by 25 becomes 150, right? So let us do this in the statement method. So if the increased number is 125, the original, I'm writing it in short, the original number is 100, right? Because it has increased by 25%. So if, now following the same rule, if the increased number is 150, what does this number become? 100 by 125 into 150. So you have 4 by 5 over here, 30. So the original number is 120. That should have been your answer. Now let us move on to question number 3, a bit over here. What should be taken away from this? Now remember, wherever you get from, it always goes in the beginning. I can never stress this enough number of times, that wherever you see from, it always goes in the beginning. Minus 5b square from 2a square minus 11ab. Now remember, this entire thing goes inside the bracket. Okay. Now let us open up the brackets, and what do we get over here? 12ab minus 5b square. It remains the same. Now remember, there is minus sign outside the bracket, so all the signs inside the bracket will change. So this becomes minus 2a square. This becomes plus 11ab. Now let us group the like terms together. So what do we have? 4a square minus 2a square. Both of these done. Then, or if you don't like to cancel it out, you can just put a tick mark over there. Then plus 12ab plus 11ab, and then minus 5b square. So these two. Remember, only like terms can be added or subtracted. So you'll have 2a square plus 23ab minus 5b square. So this should be your answer. If 15 copies of a book cost 175.50 paisa, what will be the cost of 3 books? Now you can do it very well in the arrow method, or you can do it in the unitary method as well. So cost of 15 books is equal to 175.5. Here I saw that many of you committed errors in the decimal part. Cost of one book will be what? Now let us check this out. I will show you the decimal division very clearly over here. So 15 ones 15, and you are left with 25. So again 15 ones 15, and you're left with 10, and then you bring down the 5, which is a decimal point. So you put up a decimal point over here. This is 15 sevens 105. So cost of one book is 11.70 rupees. Right? Now cost of 3 books, it becomes very simple now. 3 books is equal to 11.70 into 3, which makes it 35 rupees 10 paisa. This should have been your answer, right? So as simple as that. Now let us take up question number C. Find the complement of the angle 47 degrees 36 minutes. Now see, complement means what? Complement means 90 degrees, right? So how do we split that? We split that as 89 degrees and 60 minutes. Now let us just simply subtract 47 degrees and 36 minutes from it. And what do we get over here? 24 minutes, 42 degrees, 24 minutes. This should have been your answer. Just one step. Find the angle which is 5 times its complement. So there is one angle. Let us say it is x. There is another angle which is 5 times its complement, and together, because they are complementary, they add up to 90 degrees. So what does this mean? 6x is equal to 90 degrees and x is equal to 15 degrees. Now what you are supposed to find? Find the angle which is 5 times its complement. So you are actually supposed to find the 5x part. So 5x is equal to 75 degrees. So you see 75 degrees is 5 times its complement. So this should have been your answer. Let us move on to the very last part of this, and the last question, which is, I found that a few of you were confused over here related to the wording of the question. So let us just clarify it. 4/7 of a pole is in the mud. So the part of the pole which is in the mud is 4/7, and 1/3 of it is pulled out. So you remove the 1/3 part of it. So what is the part which is left? The part which is left is 5/21 part is still left in the mud, and this 5/21 part is equal to 5/21 of the whole pole is equal to 250 centimeters. So the length of the pole will be what? Length of the pole is equal to 250 into 21/5. So what does that give you? 1050 centimeters. That will be the full length of the pole over there. Okay, so that should be your answer. Now express 40 paisa as a percentage of 6 rupees. So 40 paisa, 6 rupees is how much paisa? 600 paisa. And you have to find the percent. It's pretty simple. 2/3, so that makes it 20/3, that is again equal to 6. 2/3%, right? Now this question, I found that many of you committed errors with this, the last question, because again your integers concepts are weak. So you need to work a little bit on your integers concept. See, remember I told you that whenever you have a question like this, you always add up the positive parts, which is 11.349 and 9.28, and then you add up the negative parts, which is 5.57 and 12.6, right? Remember, decimal always goes under the decimal, and you make them like decimals by adding zeros wherever required. So what you get over here? 9, 6, 20.629. This is what you get on adding all the pluses, and this is what you get when you add all the minuses. So 11, 16, so 5 and 6, 11 to 8, 18, right? Now this, remember, the sign remains the same. So what you are ultimately supposed to do is 20.629 minus 18.17. So you get 2.459. That should have been your answer. And with that, we come to the end of all our solutions. I hope that you were able to understand all of them, and I hope that you will be able to assess as to which concepts of yours were clear. Thank you so much for watching.